Hello, welcome. So, today we are starting the January language learning vlog. I used to do monthly vlogs for a while, and I want to bring that back because I find them very kind of motivational. It's really funny because I saw Polyglot Progress talking about how she was moving from a quarterly goal system to a monthly one for 2023. I'm going to prop you up over here. Okay, so I had actually already decided to do the same, which is kind of funny to me. That to me, quarterly goals started to feel irrelevant. You know, it was like I would set these goals and then 3 months later, they just didn't even feel, it felt like it was so long ago and I just couldn't, I don't know. They ceased being effective for me. So I think that I'm going to primarily do annual goals, but then do some little monthly things, kind of monthly pushes towards my annual goals, and also to kind of push me to try new things. And I think that that will be a more sustainable thing to do on a monthly basis or a weekly basis than quarterly. You know, like it's hard to say this quarter I want to really try this new thing, because a quarter is a long time to try something. Anyway, with that in mind, January is I have just realized that I have no idea how to say this out loud. I've never heard anybody say it out loud. Todoku month. So if you're not familiar, Todoku is a reading challenge that is hosted online. I actually don't know who hosts it, but I will have the link. It is basically just a challenge to read as many pages as you can in your target language or languages. So it can be any form of reading. It doesn't have to be books. I do have kind of the loose goal of hitting 1,000 pages in that. And I have kind of a little TBR to be read list for that. I'm not going to push that, you know, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but that's like 33 pages a day or something like that, and that seems fairly attainable. I would like to record a video in Spanish. I would like to do my favorite books that I read in Spanish in 2022. I recorded a video a couple weeks ago that was all of the books that I read in 2022 in Spanish. But the recording was like an hour long, and while that's good for practice, it's not good for a video. And so I was trying to figure out how to cut it down, but since I didn't set out to make a video talking about my favorites, it was not cohesive at all if I cut it down. So I decided to just re-record it, so I need to do that. I would like to read 4 stories in French. I have a bilingual short story collection that I got for Christmas that I want to start. So there's that. So we will look at what I'm reading for Todoku. So the first book is Babel by R.F. Kuang. I read this in English last month and I was obsessed, so obsessed that I immediately ordered it in Spanish also. And it was originally written in English, but absolutely love it. This is a hefty book, so this will make up the majority of my Todoku reading. There are 688 pages, and I am at page 152. I am also exactly halfway through El Linaje Perdido, the third book in Los Dioses del Norte. So I only have like 2 hours left of this. I'm reading it and listening to it simultaneously, so this should be very easy to finish soon. Now, to a slightly more serious note, I had a very, very good language learning year last year, in my opinion. I felt like I really prioritized language learning. I had a great time language learning. It never felt bad or like a, duty or anything. But I did not have a great mental health year last year. Not in a concerning way, but just not great. And towards the end of the year, that kind of came to a crest, and I have been letting a lot of things go, just like in my daily life, in my house, that sort of thing. And so I have realized that I'm kind of using language learning as a way to like avoid that, where like I come home from work and I just do languages or read because that's what I want to do, you know, which is fine and good, except that like I also have to like clean and cook and, you know, maintain an adequate lifestyle. And so my true priority for January is to achieve a balance of those things. And I absolutely don't want to be like, I'm putting language learning on hold until I get my life together, because I think that that will severely demotivate me to get my life together, because I will be like, well, everything just sucks. And also, I mean, obviously, I also don't want to get out of the habit of doing language learning. So my project for this week is that I have to do 2 things to restore the equilibrium of my household every day. And I can work those in however they fit in, but they have to get done. So today I reorganized some things that need to get moved in order for a maintenance request that I needed to make, and I made the maintenance request, and I folded half of the mountain of laundry that needed folded. So that is where we're at. So I will be hopefully making good progress on that this week. But while I was folding that laundry, I watched the worst movie I've seen in quite some time. It was called La Jefa. It's brand new on Netflix. It was a Spanish movie. It started out really promising, and then it just devolved into absolute nonsense. So I don't really recommend it. Even if you're just doing it for the Spanish input, honestly, I would choose something else. I would just watch something else. It's not good. I don't recommend it. If you want spoilers, I can do them in the comments. But anyway, this has already been such a long intro to this video, so I will leave you here. Hello. Okay, small update. So it is January 7th. As of yesterday, I have 228 pages in, so that is, as long as I, read more today, that is on target for 1,000 pages. That is about 35 pages a day, so I'm very happy with that. I am 218 pages into Babbel. Absolutely loving it. I have been trying to figure out my reading speed, and I think these pages I read about 1 to 2 pages a minute, like a page and a half to 2 pages. No. That's backwards. It takes me about 1.5 to 2 minutes to read a page of this book. These pages are almost exactly 1 page per minute. I am listening to the audiobook while I read this, and the audiobook is at 1.25 times speed. So I am almost done with this one. I think, I have about 1 hour and 11 minutes left of this, but, on 1.25 times speed. I also started The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe in French. Next Story, which is an app that I am trying out for French, has the audiobook, and so I got the ebook and I am reading and listening at the same time. It is definitely way above my level in French, but I have read it many times before in English when I was a kid, and it was the first chapter book that I read in Spanish, so I still know what's going on. I do need to read some easier stuff, but it is, it's fun to be able to read something. So I've read 1 chapter of that so far in French. So I am listening to the first Game of Thrones in Spanish, and I'm just listening to it, not reading it physically. I am at 42%, which sounds like I am, moving along, but I've already been listening to it for a month. It is like a 31-hour audiobook or something like that, so I have listened to 13.5 hours, and I still have 19 hours to go. So I'm hoping to finish that in January, but we shall see. It is a very long audiobook. I think that is all of the updates. Oh no, I started watching a show on Netflix called Las Villas Mizar, I think. It is a telenovela, which I don't normally watch telenovelas, but this one really caught my eye and it has very, very good reviews. So it does have like 74 episodes, which is absolutely wild, but it is about 3 sisters who are growing up in Colombia, I believe, during like the Spanish colonization, obviously, and they are kind of being trained by their father to get revenge or vengeance or justice or whatever you want to call it for the Spanish officer who killed their mother. And so it has been very, very interesting to watch so far, and I'm only 2 episodes in, but I like it so far. Yeah, so I will see you in the next update. Hello. So it is the 8th of January. It is Sunday, so I am getting the Sunday scaries. I had a good day today. I was at my partner's house earlier and I read Babel for about an hour, and then I came home and did some stuff around the house. And then I've been watching shows while I did that and read a little bit more. I finished El Linaje Perdido. This seems like it was definitely initially supposed to be a trilogy, I think, because this seemed like the end. But there's a 4th book. I have the 4th book. I will read it. I don't think I will read any more, like if she continues to come out with more. I just don't think it's necessary. So I didn't start the 4th book. I actually started Charlotte's Web. I put a poll on my Instagram about which kind of quick read or easy read I should do next, and Charlotte's Web was by far the winner. So I am glad, because I want to get rid of some of these books from my shelf. Not that I don't greatly appreciate having this book and the opportunity to read it, but I am reaching the point in which reading children's books is not super enjoyable for me. Like, middle grade is still fine, but like I read The Boxcar Children last year and I did not have a good time, and I've read a couple chapters of this today and I don't really want to keep reading, but I'm going to because I should be able to speed through this fairly quickly. Babel, still making good progress. That makes it look like I am much farther than I am. This is the front. Still absolutely loving that. Yesterday I started the show El Desorden que Dejas. Very, very interesting show. I am halfway through it now, and it is like, if you like messy interpersonal drama shows, highly recommend it. I think the ones that I said on my Instagram that it reminds me of are Clickbait, Behind Her Eyes, Dr. Foster, and The Sinner. You know, kind of that vibe of show. I'm trying to decide whether to watch more of that or keep reading, or maybe read something in English. I have done a lot today already. I think I'm going to keep watching the show because it's been a while since I've been super caught up in a show, so might as well take advantage. Hello! So it is January 13th. I just got out of the shower, hence my drowned rat look. Updates. I think since we last talked, I have given up on Charlotte's Web. I have just come to the realization that I think I waited too long to read the children's books that I have in Spanish. I don't want to read them anymore, to be honest, and I do feel bad about that, but I just put them up on my Pango books for sale. So I have Charlotte's Web, Winnie the Pooh, and an abridged children's versions of Don Quixote. This is obviously not a children's book. This is a Haruki Murakami book, but I did put that one up as well because that specific one of his books is, people criticize it all the time for being extremely misogynistic. So I just don't feel the need to read it. My updated plans are to obviously continue reading Babel. I am exactly 50% through it right now. The chapter ended perfectly, which was very exciting. And I think I'm going to try to finish Mockingjay. I read about a fifth of this a long time ago, and so I think it's time for me to just finish this series. If I still enjoy reading it, I would also at some point like to get the prequel and read that one as well, because I really did like it in English. Things have been going really well. I have 26 hours and 41 minutes so far in January, and I've only done like half an hour today, so that will go up even more, but that's already over 2 hours a day, so that is very exciting. I did finish the show El Desorden que Dejas. I can't remember if I had said that already. It was pretty good. I really enjoyed watching it, although it was a little bit overly long, but not too bad. I found it very engrossing. It had some things that happened in it that I don't love when they include in shows. Because it just feels a little bit exploitative or something like that. I don't want to spoil it because I'm sure there are people who want to watch it, but if you are curious, I can talk about it in the comments. But anyway, I haven't been watching much of anything since then. I do still have Las Via Mizar on, tap. I think I've watched 3 episodes or something like that, but I just haven't been in a watching things mood lately. As far as doing stuff around the house, it's still in progress. I definitely have not been getting through it as quickly as I would have liked to, but I also have not quit completely, which is also good. So there is still a lot to be done, but we are working on it, slow and steady. So there have been some positive developments of like trying to go outside more and such, which I always struggle to do in the winter. I have my favorite tea, which I got for Christmas, the Just Peachy David's tea. So I just made some of that, and we are going to read. Hello, so it is Saturday morning, the 14th. I just read Babel for an hour, so I am now at page 406. So completely coincidentally, that got me exactly to 500 pages in Sudoku, so that was exciting. So this book is about translation. It's like a historical, slight fantasy, kind of dark academia book that is very, very good, but it centers around this translation institute that is on the cover there. The main character is from China, and he's from the Canton region, and so throughout it kind of talks about, the Chinese characters for different things and how things translate from different languages, not just Cantonese or Mandarin, but also other languages. So it's very language inspiring if you need a language inspiring book. But anyway, it has kind of made me realize that I really do eventually want to learn a Chinese language, probably Mandarin, but yeah, I've always kind of had it in the back of my mind that I kind of would like to. And I read a short story collection last year called How that also talked about like the Oracle Bone script that the Chinese language or languages kind of derived from originally, and I just love the fact that you can trace most of these like radicals and stuff back to a meaning, and yeah, like visually, obviously they all track back to a meaning. That's stupid, but you know what I mean, that you can see the meaning in them. This is not an announcement that I'm starting Chinese, because I'm absolutely not right now, but it is something that I would like to maybe start dabbling in at some point, and then eventually I do think I would like to at least start learning it. Yeah. Anyway. Hello. Emergency chapstick. It is Sunday afternoon, and I do actually have tomorrow off, Martin Luther King Jr. Day, and so I'm very excited about that. I really need to clean off my desk. You can see there, it is very bad. Have had zero motivation to do that for weeks now, and so I was thinking that I would try to listen to my audiobook in Spanish or something like that while I did that, but honestly, I just don't want to, so I am going to watch something in English while I do it, just to kind of lower the, threshold of difficulty to start doing it, which I know may sound ridiculous, but, I'm just being honest. So, I'm going to do that. But I have something very, very exciting to report, which is that this weekend, my partner and I booked our tickets to Spain for later this year, much, much later this year. We're not going until November, but I am so, so excited. The only things set in stone so far are that we fly into and out of Barcelona and Madrid. So I definitely want to go to Sevilla, and that I have a few other stops that I think I will want to make, or day trips, that sort of thing. But I am always taking suggestions, so if you have anything that you think that I should absolutely see in Spain, definitely leave it in the comments. But anyway, I'm very, very excited. We will be public transportation only. We will not be renting a car, so whatever you suggest has to be available on public transportation. So, so that is something that is so, so exciting and will at some point, moderately impact my studying, because I am going to start incorporating more, speaking practice, more travel related things, because generally I kind of stay away from travel related learning because I'm not traveling, but now I will be at some point. So anyway, I am going to do this cleanup and I will check back in. Hello! Oh, sorry. That was a weird voice. I have cleaned up my desk, which is very exciting. I think I am going to call it on this vlog and just make this the first 2 weeks of the year, because I do already have quite a lot of footage, and so yeah. Just to do a little bit of a wrap up. I am not done studying yet for today, but for the month so far, I do have 31 hours and 7 minutes in Spanish, and it is the 15th, so far I do have more than 2 hours every day. For Sudoku, 597 pages, so I am well on target for reading 1,000 pages. I don't really care about my placing, but just for informational purposes, I'm currently in 33rd place. So I think that is all of the updates that I have. So I will see you in the next vlog, and I hope that your new year is going well so far. Thanks for watching.